here at Launch Secrets. The limit does not exist. Bonus call, and you are about to meet, if you have not met it yet, you are about to meet my business shark, business ninja. We went deep into the heart, into the soul, into life artistry on The Limit Does Not Exist. And then today, we're going to have some fun and set you up for an incredible March. It is Money March. This is the famous 30-day Sell Your Heart Out Feminine Sales Challenge. We're going to sell like we breathe. And I thought, what would be the perfect class to do before you set up to sell every day? And who's already committed to selling every day? Drop it in the chat. Yes, to selling every day in March. Before you do that, let's learn how to create buzz and anticipation so that people are dropping in the chat. They're texting you. They're banging at your door. They're like, tell us the offer. Just tell us the freaking offer. And if you haven't noticed, I looked at the chat box, which by the way, I'm obsessed with. I have chat box FOMO. So I read the chat box after this. So if something is landing, if you're having a good time, if you want to share something with me, I will see it because I'm like, I just wish that I could be hanging out with you guys in there as well. But as you saw in the chat box on The Limit Does Not Exist, people were asking, they were like, when are you going to share the offer with us? Like, please tell us what the offer is, Shosh. Did you see that? So today is going to be how you can do that so that before you put out an offer, people are like wanting to buy. They already have their card out. They're already like, I wonder if I could swing this. They already want to join. And so this has been happening already with Money March for the past month. I've been seeding it. I've been in the pre-launch. I've been in the pre-launch, and I'll talk about what those things are today. So people are like, where is the link to join? Would you like, before you start selling, to build anticipation and desire for what you have before you even put it out there? Is anybody like me and you didn't learn launching and you winged it? Good for you. Go us, right? Because some people never do this. And you put something out totally randomly and you were like, I have this thing and I'm so excited. And people, maybe if they even responded, they were like, we're so excited for you. And then it just felt kind of like this. It was supposed to be this climatic moment, but what do we know about a climax? We got Lou here. We got some of our pleasure feminine women in here. What do we know about a climax? Does it just come out of the blue? Just a climax come out of the blue? No, the best climaxes come build. There's a lot of build up. There's a lot of tension. When someone said, why does this process, the sales process, always make me feel anxious? And I said, ooh, it can make you feel anxious, but it's supposed to make you feel like you're anticipating something. It's supposed to kind of feel edgy for you. And it's supposed to draw you closer to a point of decision. And most people never actually let themselves get to that point of decision. And that is the bravery of getting people to the yes and the no, right? That's the invitation. That's your launch. But there is so much that happens before that so that the yes is absolutely easy, so that you feel confident, so that people are like, ask me. Have you guys ever been in a relationship where you are wanting someone to ask you to go to the next step? And you're like, okay, hold back from asking, where is this going? Okay, I'm just going to, you want that person to propose, right? You're like really hoping that this person makes an offer to you. So this is why I love the courting process. This is why I love the sales process, because yes, you can meet someone on the street and be like, would you marry me? Right? You look good. You look like you might be a great life partner, but it kills the magic. And I think that when we call seduction, when we call the art of flirtation, when we call courting and dating manipulative, I just think we've totally lost the plot. I like, if dating and courting and seduction is manipulative, then we have made everything that is feminine and womanly wrong. Because men reign, most men, should say, in the physical push, in the hunters. They go and they DM all the people and they close them, and they're ninja. They do sales their way and it's cool. They're sharks, right? We know how to move people with our energy, with our influence, with the art of flirtation, seduction, and story and build up, right? So we're going to go through that process today. Are we excited? Drop in the chat how you're feeling about launching. I want to know. I have some notes over here because I have 9 pages of notes, and we will be I'm really I can't even believe it's not. I miss teaching so much. You have no idea. This is just the beginning of Money March, which is going to be the whole month of just not holding back at all. So I want to know, are any of my Vortex clients here today? Have you guys shifted your relationship to launching? Have you what's going on with you when you're launching? My Vortex, my inner circle mastermind. We have some of you here. We have our Vortex alumni here. Do we have anyone who it is their first Money March, or someone it is their fourth, third, second Money March? Drop in the chat. Like, we have fun. It's a living brave party, don't we? First, second, my first. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Third, cool. Okay. We are in for the ride of a lifetime. Do we have anybody who has already joined Money March Platinum, or someone who has been in the Money March upgrade before? Do we? It is closing tomorrow. And I also have a special announcement, which is we have a call after this, a coaching call with me for top affiliates that was capped at 50 people. And we have some spaces left. It was for people who invited more than 10 to The Limit Does Not Exist. Also, if you need any support, email team@shoshannaraven.com. We will get you all the links. So people who use their affiliate link and invite more than 10 people, we have a coaching call with me after this. But I decided to invite the new platinum members to that call since we have some space, and to surprise you guys, because as part of the launch sequence, the post-launch is always over fucking deliver, right? Over deliver for your people. So I will see our top affiliates and the Money March Platinum after this call at 1 p.m. And if you don't have the link, just email us. So I will talk more about that offer that expires tomorrow at the end of this session, but it is an upgrade of 4 weeks of coaching with me and a bunch of other stuff during Money March. Money March is the 30-day sales challenge, where I do like a voice note every day, and there are weekly live calls and prizes for selling. Okay. So yes, you are here, every single person right now, because you shared about The Limit Does Not Exist. And I just want you to know, like, I have been going crazy in my inbox, like clicking on every single one. Like, if you get something with like probably spelling errors, and it's just like, I love you, no, not, it's me. Like, if there's nothing that's like from Jella, it's me. It's always me. If there's nobody, like if it doesn't say anyone else's name, I have like, it's just been so much fun. I've been wanting to be in my DMs. I've been wanting to connect with you guys. It was like a mad dash to watch all of the shares. So I just want to say, like, thank you so much. The response has been so overwhelming, and it is like such a cool application of these principles that we're taking to the next level this Money March. Like, when you pour into people, you invest in the universal bank and it comes back tenfold. And just thank you for being the ones who are just the fucking OGs. You guys are like ride or dies, and it takes a really brave, really, honestly, someone so powerful and sturdy in themselves to link arms with other powerful women. So can we just go, let's give ourselves a pat on the back. Yes, like, I'm just celebrating you and the journey that it took for you to be the kind of person who gets to link arms with other powerful women and like celebrate that publicly. That's a really big deal. It took me a long time to be able to do that. And I always knew, if I'm feeling generous, if I'm feeling like I want to share about my mentors and other people and the communities I'm in from the rooftops, that means I'm like in this generous, open spirit. And for me, that's always an indication that I'm not in this like protective mode. I'm not in the scarcity mode, that I'm connected to a state of abundance and that more is coming to me. I was like, okay, I'm in a good season right now. Like, yeah, so that's always a great sign. So I'm celebrating you for that. Thank you. Just thank you so much. So this is called Launch Secrets: How to Create Demand and Buzz for Any New Offer, and the behind the scenes of my master plan. Okay, these are the master plans. I think sometimes people watch me and they're like, I think they know what I'm doing. And I will tell you, sometimes a lot of the things I'm doing are intuitive, and then I reverse engineer it for you guys. And I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't even doing that like strategically. It was just intuitive. And really, that's what I love about business, is helping you guys get back to the heartbeat of what a business is, which is the art of relationships, which is just like, be a good human, pour into people, work on your self-mastery and mastery of your skills and your tools, build value, and get nerdy about like how you can make the marketing, the sales, and art. But typically, like so many of the things that we'll talk about today are just really relationship principles that they become like second nature. So you don't have to be so in your head when you're launching and making content. So today we'll go probably for 2 hours straight into our coaching call for the platinum members and for our top affiliates. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So I want to hear in the chat, how are you feeling about launching? So I want to share, this is the process of taking something from an idea to something that can be sold. This is like everything that happens before you invite someone into an offer. Okay, this is how you like flirt with possibility to seeing an idea through. Okay, has anybody here ever launched something, pretended it never happened, or launched something and moved on after 3 days, or launched something and launched 5 other things at the same time, or launched something and your resistance came up and told you were bored, or told you already moved on, or told you there was another idea that was better? Have you ever launched something and the momentum was there and then it died and you were like, ooh, and it just kind of like fizzled out? Who here has ever launched something and it was beyond your vision board? Like, I am telling you, it was like, this is working. And it is like, and things started compounding. Like, people were joining and then more people were joining. And then it just felt like, magic. You were like, oh my gosh, like it kept compounding. Okay, my first 10K, so close. Also, that, the best feeling ever. Yes. Okay. Would you like to learn how to do that every time? Yes. Yeah, no. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Would you like to learn how to never fear your launches, the ones that feel like magic, being a fluke, that you know how to create buzz and demand for any offer? Because this is the journey that I have gone through, and I'm going to share with you everything I know. So, a few people, when I would do launches and launch events, people would trickle into my offers. Like, people would I knew how to build a movement and I knew how to build a brand and I knew how to build energetic resonance and alignment. And that's a lot of what we're doing in category 1 inside the platinum program, is building the foundations of the movement, the community. But in terms of the launch plan, I didn't really nail this part. I was just building goodwill with people. I didn't know how to take people to create buzz for an offer and create an immediate yes. This started happening from my core offer in November 2023, which was when I had my first multiple 7-figure month, which was insane. A multiple 7-figure sales month. I never even had a 500K month because I nailed this launch process. And then ever since, we've had huge launches. In June 2024, I was literally in the hospital. June, July, some of you might have come in there. I was in the hospital, hooked up to IVs. We had a $600,000 launch from a hospital bed. No, September 2024, Live and Brave Live, we did 2.2 million in 2 weeks. October after that, we did another $1 million launch. In January 2025, we did another $1 million launch. In March 2025, we did a $4 million launch. In May, we did another $1 million launch. In August, we did another $1 million launch. In September, we did a $4 million launch. And then I took 5 months off for the book. Okay, so like something clicked and we have figured something out. But I want to take you back, because maybe you'll see yourself in some of these stories. I want to take you back to 2020, when I launched the Living Brave 8-week program. Now, does anybody, I'm going to go into teacher mode. Does anybody see just off the bat what is wrong with the Living Brave 8-week program? Okay, is there a compelling hook there? Am I selling a transformation? Am I selling a result? No. Okay, with the Living Brave 8-week program, and I got guidance to have a launch party. The only thing is, I didn't have certainty that this whole thing would work, and I was like 95% committed, 98% committed. And didn't we talk about on The Limit Does Not Exist that 98% commitment is like a lot harder than 100% commitment? Because all of your energy goes into, am I doing this? Am I not? Oh my God, what are they going to think? And you have an exit plan. And so I had that kind of exit plan. I was like, well, I might sign up for this program, but like maybe if this launch works out, because then I'll have the money to do it, and and so that's where my energy was going, not in like having an extraordinary launch, right? So I didn't have certainty that anyone would join this friggin' offer or this business. And so I was hedging, but I still kind of did it, which is the worst thing. You know how I talked about the champion's way? Like, either go all in or don't do it at all, is out of self-respect to yourself. So I was hedging. I didn't really talk about this party to anybody. It was like, is the party happening? I was like, it's kind of, so I like told a couple people about it, which made the party just really fucking awkward. Has anybody had a really freaking awkward launch and a really awkward launch party because you halfway did it? Right. And I really, honestly, I wish I hadn't done the party when I was at the party. And I had made 2 posts. I had 2 posts and I had this launch party. You know what the post said? Post said, I am so excited about my new business. There are 2 spots left. Okay, so this is when people don't get this kind of coaching and they see what works. A big announcement, which is actually, even at the highest level, not what does it. Connection is what does it. Intimacy is what does it. People knowing that you understand their fears, their challenges, their dreams, their goals, and desires. It's not the big branding. It's not the big thing that you do. It's not the big story sequence slide. Okay. But I thought that would be the thing. This really cool picture. I launched my business and 2 spots left because people think sometimes that urgency is what a launch is and that sells. But here's what I'm going to just, I'm going to bust this myth for you. When people say urgency and bonuses and all that don't sell things, and they're like, high level buyers don't, buy urgency and scarcity. These people, what they're saying to you, because I don't hate money and I don't hate bonuses. I am a high level client. I like those things. I don't know who they are working with, right? But what they are saying to you when they say that is that you don't sell people with a bonus. You don't meet a guy and he's like, look at this really fat diamond, right? It makes it better. Like you're sold on him, right? You're already sold on the offer. So what urgency and scarcity and all of that do when it's authentic, when it's not authentic, it just repels people because it's static in the signal, right? It's not real and people feel that. But when it's real, what it does is it gets people off their freaking butt, which is what you want to do, which is not manipulative, which is at the end of the day, a fucking courtesy to all, which is why I will close the doors for Money March. I will close the doors for Platinum tomorrow because I want you to have that experience of needing to say yes or no. And then what's great about giving people that experience of needing to say yes or no is that the next time you give them an option, they will move faster. Okay, so we're going to get to all of that today. Anyway, it was obviously crickets. In fact, I didn't really have the sales part figured out, which is what we're going to figure out inside of Money March together. I was like, I don't know how to have a sales conversation. I don't even know if you're going to apply. I don't know if I'm going to have a call with you. So not only was the launch there was no launch, there was just one post and one weird party, but the sales part wasn't figured out. So some of you are like, oh, I remember that in the beginning of my journey. But some of you are here, you've made 6 figures, 7 figures in your business. Drop in the chat. Have you made 6 figures in your business, multiple 6 figures in your business, 7 figures in your business? Anybody had a 6-figure launch? Anybody has a 7-figure launch? Yes. Oh my gosh, you have amazing leaders in here. So you probably relate to that story early in the journey. However, you might relate to this, which is I was at a place in my journey where I had made millions of dollars in my business. And I was doing a joint launch with someone who used to be a mentor of mine. We were like, this would be so fun, like a joint venture, right? A JV launch. And she had made millions in her business. And we were like, this is going to be amazing. Okay, we called it, we were like, well, we're successful. We have an engaged community, right? So we called it the mentor and we started promoting it. And we were so excited about it. And I'm telling you, I was up. I was working. I remember feeling like I'm pushing more than I usually do with this, right? And I'm writing the emails, we're doing the posts, but no one was buying. And it seemed like only we were excited. Have you ever had this experience? And it's like, I'm really excited. I'm actually going hard. I'm not hedging. And we were trying so hard. It's not that we didn't show up, even though we both had established brands. It was the only time I have not followed through on an offer that I said I was going to do in my entire business because like one person joined. And it is the only time we said, maybe we just take the sign that we're not meant to do this. Like I always say, it's not a failure until you stop. Basically, you don't end the launch until you end the launch. But this was the one time in 6 years, over 6 years. So I did not know why that did not work. I thought alignment, the universe, right? Now I know exactly what happened strategically in 2022 because we didn't follow the launch secrets, the Living Brave launch secrets master plan. Okay, so let's think about this for a second. The best companies in the world don't hope that it goes well. Have you ever done this? You're like, I'm just going to hope. You're like, I'm launching a new offer. I hope it goes well. Let's just delete this. We love hope. We want to get our hopes up, but this is not what we're riding into Money March with. Okay. We don't hope around here. We have sharp level strategic action plans. So do we want to hope it goes well, or do we want to engineer it so that people are already engaged and paying attention by the time you make the offer? Hollywood knows how to do this. Does Hollywood just put out a movie and you're like, oh shit, this movie just popped up. I've never heard about it before. Do you want to go see it? No. They release a trailer 6 months out, 6 months before. And then their actors go on a press tour before the movie's out and get everybody excited about it. And they leak certain things, and there are all these trailers and videos. And then what do? There's a huge opening night. There's an event that people go to, and there's so much press and so much media around it, right? So if you hadn't heard about it in the pre-launch, now that the movie has launched, you're like, oh, everybody's at this event. And then it creates social proof, right? And it creates momentum because all these people are at this event. They don't just hope that it goes well and then hope that the viral effect takes on. They make sure that that happens because there's one night where the doors open. And so the difference just between an offer and a launch is that a launch, just like an offer has a deadline at the end, the launch has an opening, a grand opening that creates like a, oh my gosh, it's Christmas. Like, does Apple say, hey, you guys, like Steve Jobs in his day was the master performer at his launches? Was he like, yeah, we're working on something, we'll get it to you sometime next week. Sometime next week, I'll let you know. No, he said on September 23rd, we will revolutionize the iPhone. Like, this is big language. On September 23rd, mark your calendar. And people are like, oh my God, it's September 22nd, right? That the date is burned in their brain. And he talked a big game, right? And then they delivered on that. So did you notice that I did this February 21st, February 21st, February 21st? Like, this is the date. This is the date that we're going live, right? Of course, we want that date burned in people's brains. And I actually remember I went and I saw Jamie, who might be here today, the gut goddess, and we did this crazy energy clearing. It was awesome. But I was like, I told her this story, and I was like, yeah, I'm actually, okay, long story short, my dentist told me that I should take anxiety medication for patients that are feeling anxiety during their dentist work. And I had this thought in my head, and I thought, I am not someone who is an anxious person. So what did I do? You will never act out of alignment with the identity you have for yourself. So I decided I was going to become the chill rocket ship. And I literally told her, like, I just chilled out instantly. And she was like, what just happened? And I was like, I popped one of those pills in my brain. And she was like, what? She's like, can you teach me how to do that? And I was telling Jamie this story, and she's like, you should have told her to come to your class on February 21st at 10 a.m. Saturday. And I was like, it just gave me such a, yes, I have burned this date in people's brains. I'm like, that's exactly what I was thinking of telling her, Jamie. Like, it's like, well, I know exactly where to direct people, so the date is burned in their brain. So side story. Okay, are we ready for the Living Brave launch formula? Are we ready for the Living Brave launch formula? The launch secrets. We won't call it a formula. Okay, the art form. So I'm going to give you this in an unexpected way, and then I'm going to apply it to your business. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes of how I fell in love with Christian, but you have to promise me that some of these things are confidential. Okay, that you will not tell him. Okay, let's talk about the pre-launch. Okay, I want you to write this down. Pre-launch. Then there's a pre-launch, a launch, and a post-launch. That's 4 things. I'm going to take you behind the scenes of Christian I's pre-launch. Okay, I'm on the phone one day, swiping on Hinge, and I see this man who catches my eye. Maybe you had this kind of feeling. You saw this woman on social media, and she was crying. She was in a tutu. She was saying some crazy shit. I don't know, but you were like, whoa, hold on. Swiping on Hinge. Ooh, there's this kind of cute guy, and he said something quite interesting to me that caught my eye, that was different than everybody else. And so there was something different about him, and he said something that spoke to me directly. And it was this low commitment decision. Like I wasn't going to go meet him in person, right? But it was like, oh, let's have a conversation, right? And it was easy to interact and easy to chat on the app. And he made me laugh. He made me laugh. We connected and I decided that I liked him. We asked each other questions. Okay. Like, do you want, like, okay, were the questions, do you want kids in your life? If you were to find the person, would you want kids? If you were to find the person, what would that relationship be like for you? Right? What would a great relationship be like in your eyes? But notice, neither of us said, do you want to have kids with me? I'm looking for my soulmate. Would you like to sign a soul contract with me right now? Right? If we said, if you're going to be in a relationship, what would be important to you? And what is the pre-launch for? This is for gathering data. And the most important part of your pre-launch and honestly, for the entire launch for this matter, is to be in conversation with people, because no one wants to be talked at. No one wants to hear, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, right? People get countless marketing messages every day. Just like, do you want to be catcalled? Right? I mean, I think the last time I was catcalled, I was like pregnant. I was actually walking out of, was it a Living Brave Live event? What event was it? Anyway, I got catcalled on the streets. It hasn't happened in a while. And I turned around and they saw my pregnant belly and they're like, oh shit, she's pregnant. But anyway, that time I thought it was pretty funny, but typically you don't want to be catcalled, right? Especially for someone who's always getting catcalled, right? You want someone who actually sees you, having a conversation with you. And the second you look salesy, without me knowing you and liking you and trusting you first, I have already tuned you out. All right, this is why my 8-week program didn't work. Not only did I not have a hook, there's so much I want to share with you today, right? Not only did I not have a good hook, big idea and offer and story, which is what we're hashing out when I'm talking about the category of one program and platinum and the micro movement method. That's all about having a hook, a big idea, an offer, a level 10 offer, and your story, right? That builds your brand, that builds like the bones of all of this. But on top of that, I also did not build anticipation. I did not test interest, and it was completely random. So I tried to sell scarcity, not the transformation. And again, as I said before, urgency and scarcity close people after they already bought in, and it comes at the end. So Christian and I, we were in conversation. We realized we liked each other. Okay, he's gathering important data that's going to be very important for the pre-launch, right? And he's gathering all this data, and then he enters the pre-launch phase, right? Gathering all this data that he's going to now co-create these dates based on what I told him. Now we have selected if this is a person that I might want to date. So we start dating. And this is where he showed me how much of a high value man he was. Okay. He showed me, I know what I'm doing. He showed me, I know what you need. And he showed me, and I can give it to you. He actually gave me evidence that he knew what he was doing. He knew what I needed, and he could give it to me. He could deliver. And I started thinking before he even asked, I would like to go deeper with this person. All right. Like, I wonder what the next steps are. I wonder when they're going to share the fucking offer, right? When are they going to share the damn offer already? So I was discovering who he was in pieces, not all at once, right? Which made it even more exciting. Isn't it? Like, you don't give it all away at once, but it's like this, oh my gosh, I'm getting to know more and more and more about this person, this courting process. And this is the part you can't tell. Even if I wanted to go all the way, even if I asked for the offer, let me tell you a secret. He said, when he asked me to sleep over for the first time, he said, don't worry, I have this strict rule about the first date. So about the first sleepover. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God. So even if I wanted to go for it, the doors were closed. Sorry, you can't join. There's a wait list. Keep binging the content. Can I buy? No, not yet. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, stick around. Right? Oh my gosh, buzz, anticipation, desire. So now I'm excited. Like, now we're all excited for the doors to open, because even if you want to join during the pre-launch, you can't. Oh my gosh, when is this offer going to open? Now, would it have worked without this courting process? We will never know. However, the reason that courting, flirting, dating is a thing is because it works. Okay, this is how demand and buzz is built. This is how anticipation is built. And sometimes the courting process is really short, right? Sometimes you'd be like, I just binged 10 episodes of your podcast. And someone just texted me this morning. Oh my God, I read the book. I want to encore. How do we work together? Right? Of course. But also that's because you condensed intimacy through having long form content and having a movement and having a brand that did all of these things for you. The book, social proof, expertise, connection, like all of the things also that you're doing during the launch. Okay, sip of this water. How are we doing? How are we doing? Are you enjoying this? Okay. Now, then you have your launch. This is the invitation to commitment. You would be wise not to stay in limbo here. People shy away here. Oh my God. You guys, have you done this? To the detriment of your dreams and the people that you're meant to serve. You want to get to the yes and the no. And you want to make an incredible offer with a shiny diamond ring. Okay. There is going to be an event. There's going to be a clear kickoff. There's going to be the wedding, right? There is going to be something you're excited about. And you want to share about this decision you have made with all of your people. Because when you say yes, it is an identity shift. Do you give people this opportunity to say yes? And when they say yes, it is like, just like they just got engaged, they want to tell everybody because they're walking into a new era of their lives. They're saying yes to a transformation. They're saying yes to an identity shift. They're saying yes to a new era, right? So we got the launch and then we've got the post-launch. Now, the second you get into a committed relationship with someone, and you start farting around and you start snapping at them, what happens? Is this a guaranteed thing? Absolutely not. The post-launch is the most important thing, right? Of course they can still leave. What is no? Okay, the post-launch is when you actually receive all of the fruits of the launch. This is when it is the juiciest part of the relationship, the post-launch. And yet, this is where people, they stop the launch. They forget there's a fourth part, right? Someone who has said yes to you already is so worth over just pouring into because they are going to be a lifelong client. They are going to be a member of your movement. They are your 1% person and you tend to that relationship. This in the post launch is where you over deliver like crazy. Okay. And you give people something to look forward to. The wedding, right? You're like, we are going to invite all of our favorite people and we are going to do this thing. We're going to have this moment, this commitment, right? This kickoff, this launch, and then over deliver and continue to tend to that relationship because someone who is already a customer is 10 times more value in your ecosystem. It is, we talk about high cash flow, low maintenance. This is the way to have a low maintenance business. And this is why I have over 100 alumni clients and more to come. Okay, now, are we ready to apply this to our businesses? If you're ready, drop a ready an emoji in the chat box. Yes. Born ready. Awesome. So a launch in your business is a period of prolonged visibility and promotion of an offer. What is demand? Demand, I'm an economics nerd. Okay. We have demand for things that are rare and valuable, right? And so we get paid well for things that are rare and valuable. Something, if you can get something kind of anywhere, it becomes a commodity. And commodities price compete, right? Because there's not a whole difference. The only thing they can kind of do is like build a strong brand around it, right? But when you have a service, when you have a product, when you have something that is rare, that is not like anything else, and that is valuable to people, they want it, they'll invest in it, they care about this thing, people pay for what's rare and valuable. Okay. Now, if you are available all the time, if you can buy this all the time, if you are available all the time, if you bend over backwards, right? If you don't value your work, well, what's that going to do to the perceived value? What's that going to do to your demand? right? A lot of the strategy that people talk about when it comes to dating is actually mimicking what a high value person would do, right? It's like if I will drop my entire life to go hang out with you tonight every single night when I don't even freaking know you, right? Like, what does that say about how I'm willing to just drop my life? So, the same thing when it comes to sales, a lot of the times you might think, oh, this is a strategy, right? But if someone has a lot of options, if someone is really has a standard for working with people who are all in on themselves, is this person like if I don't respond to someone with 20 messages to me arguing against their dreams, and I'm not convincing them to join my program, and I actually just maybe respond with something short or wait until tomorrow, it's not a strategy, right? It's what you do when you're in demand, when you're high value. And that's why a lot of people sometimes do kind of shady things where they're like, there are literally people I know that they block off their calendar and they make it look like they don't have any availability for like 3 months later because of perceived demand, because they want to look like a high value, right? So there is like how you mimic high value. But what's crazy is sometimes when you actually set standards and boundaries for yourself and you don't bend over backwards and you don't always be available, you actually become that person. And Christian is, we always say like be, do, have. Christian likes to say do, be, have. It's easier to act your way into a new way of being than be your way into a new way of acting. So it's like if we want to have the thing, we have to embody it, and we have to act like it first. So sometimes when you mirror some of these behaviors, you actually become, right, that high value person. So that little tangent here, but we need to have a clear and compelling offer where the maths. And this, when it comes to, like I said before, when it comes to the actual offer, your big idea, the story of your offer, the hook, this is something that I am going to dive deep on you guys with inside of Platinum. So if this is like you love my way of teaching business, this is the month you want to blow it up, and you feel like you would really benefit from having those foundations in place as we pour fuel on the fire of your sales, Platinum is going to be a great place for you. But for today, I will share that first, the math needs to math. Like I went from 100K months to multi-million-dollar months because I stopped focusing primarily on a $99 offer and I started focusing on my core transformational offer. And that changed everything, right? And it doesn't mean that you can't have low ticket and all this. I would love to answer your questions in some kind of coaching space when it comes to that, because I have so much to say on it. But we want a clear offer with a clear A to B transformation. And does that mean it's not multidimensional? Absolutely not, right? But you have to challenge yourself to say, what does this actually mean? What does this actually look like for people, right? How does this get people from where they are to where they want to go in a new way? And what makes it rare and valuable, which makes it in demand, is that it's better than the alternatives. So you have to show people that you understand what their alternatives are, and they don't like their alternatives, or else they would have taken them already. So you need to show them the gaps and the issues with the alternatives, right? And this is what I call your big idea. Okay, this is the single most important thing in your business. And again, there's going to be an entire workshop around this in Platinum during Money March on crafting your big idea. This is going to be the premise of your sales message, of your marketing message, and it is the overall promise and opportunity of your launch. So the overall promise and opportunity of your launch is the same overall promise and opportunity of your offer. Then you need a story. And your story is your brand, right? A brand is a story people think of when they hear your name, right? And so we've got to have this story. Why this offer? Why do you care about this? Why is this important to your client, right? How do you know this? Like, how does it work? Your story, it could be your personal story. It could be something that you've done for someone else. Your story is their story with a happy ending. Okay, so we need to have a story of how you even came across this. If I'm just like, here's how to have, if I share with you today, here's how to have this amazing launch, like what's going to be more compelling? If I share with you, I used to launch like this, and you're saying, I'm launching like that right now. And I said, and I was told all of these different ways to launch, right? But I have a new opportunity. I have a new framework I've developed. And I start to give you some insight into it. And you go, whoa, that actually sounds really different. I feel like now I have belief that it could work for me, right? And now I'm inviting you into this offer. So you need to have a clear and compelling story around this. and you need to know how to get attention. This is about the art of having a strong hook. We have a literal hook generator inside of the vortex. And I'm not going to spill like what we have created and what we are creating, but we have a literal hook generator inside of the vortex. So if you're in the vortex, use that. But what I'm also going to do is I have this workshop. It's like a 3-hour workshop I did for Money March VIP last year. And people said it was worth the entire $2,000 in investment. It's called the Through Line, and it helps you craft your brand message, your marketing message, and your sales message. And I'm going to include that in the Platinum program because I want you guys to get really clear before we even do that workshop on Big Idea on your brand message, your marketing message, and your sales message, and how these are all distinct and different. And with your marketing message, this is where your hooks come in. But you generate your hooks from understanding your Big Idea brand message, right? And then you see how you can then translate that into a sales message. Because when you lead on the front end with your sales message, you want to lead with the hook, and then you want to have a strong, compelling sales message. So you guys will get access to the Through Line inside of the Platinum program. I'm just going to keep making this offer better. I'm like, just the people who move first are the people who get rewarded the most. So, okay, now we've got the let's see. Now I'm going to really break down these 4 parts to your business. Are you ready? Get your notes out. Get your notes out. Start taking notes ferociously. Okay. A launch is broken into 4 parts. We're going to start with the pre-launch, and I'm going to give you specific examples on how to do this in your business. So the pre-launch, remember when I said Christian and I were like flirting? We were on Hinge, talking back and forth, low commitment conversation. If you were to be in a relationship, what would it look like? So the pre-launch is when you're in a conversation with your people and you are informing them that something is coming without selling them overtly. And honestly, this isn't some weird ninja strategy. Like I did this without being like, I'm in the pre-launch. It's just something intuitively. Like I posted after Living Brave Live and I said, hey guys, I just started writing my book. Like I'm taking all of like my tools and my frameworks over the past 5 years. I'm putting them into a format anyone can use. What has been your favorite thing you've learned from me? What are some questions you have for me? What would you love to see in this book? So does that inform people? I'm writing a book. Here's what it's about. Here's who it's for. And it also asks my audience, my diehard loyal people, to co-create with me. So this is when you're gathering feedback. This is when you're testing different hooks. This is when you're seeing what problems people have, what experiences they are craving. So if you see, I'm always constantly, and I don't only do this in the pre-launch, but I'm constantly polling my audience. I'm constantly testing different things. And I'll give you some examples of what I've done so you can do it, but I'll give you an overview of what this is. And this is where your diehard people co-create your launch and your offer with you. Where people, and here's the thing, people support the thing that they help create. Did you guys feel more invested in the book because you helped create it, right? Like, and even this is even something I always do. Like, even before the Limit Does Not Exist class, I polled, what do you guys want me to focus on the most during the class? Because first of all, I actually want to build it based on what you're saying, right? I want this to be a collaborative process with you. And I'm also testing which angles are working, and I'm testing which way I say it is working for you, right? So you do that like with ads. Sometimes Christians will do 8 different hooks at a time and one of them pops off, right? For me, I do that organically. I see, wow, people really love this reel. Wow, people really voted on this poll. And if you're like, well, people don't vote on my polls and stuff yet, they will. And if you don't have diehard fans yet, that's what we're going to be doing inside of Platinum, right? Like this is where your diehard fans get involved, but that's where we're going to actually build the community and the diehard fans. So people are actually engaging and giving you this feedback. So this is where you judge how receptive a market is going to be to your offer. And you also see the objections that they have without saying, what are your objections, right? So this is why this joint venture offer I didn't work, because we guessed that people would want it. Like we just thought the universe doesn't want us to do this. No, we did not get, we could have polled people. We could have seen what they wanted. We could have seen what they were really interested in. We could have seen what they were most inspired about. We could have seen what they valued the most. We could have seen what their questions were, what their challenges were. We didn't do any of that. We guessed that people would want it. They didn't, right? And so we also did not have a compelling big idea. Again, we're going to talk much more about the big idea inside of Platinum, but the big idea is like, where am I going and how is this new? How is this different? There was no new opportunity. It really didn't, besides the fact that there's always a new opportunity with you being you and that no one else is you. And the more you dial up your weird, the more that is just built in, right? But it wasn't like explicit new opportunity. There wasn't a strong hook. I mean, the name of the book, The Limit Does Not Exist, is a hook, right? But also the science and strategy of hacking the improbable. There are only 4 limits in between you and this life. Like this built a $25 million business. All of that is pretty like, wait, what? Right? But the mentor, that's not really a hook. That's not going to make anyone go, wait, what? And the story, our story, oh my God, we work together. It's so great. What does that have to do with the client? What does it have to do about where the client is at, that we see and understand them? What does it have to do with where the client's going to be? None of it. We literally were lacking all of it. And we were both multi-million-dollar business owners. So, okay. So the offer also wasn't juicy enough. Again, I want to help craft your offers with you. Join the coaching experience. But what we did, we made an offer, and we thought that what was going to sell the offer is having maybe an early bird. Again, you want every single piece of your offer to feel like it actually ties directly to an experience people are wanting to have. It solves an exact problem that they want to have. Your offer is a logical offer, and every single piece of the offer is more valuable than the price point. If you see what I did with my crazy offers, this is a standard, right? So we didn't have a juicy offer. Now, what you also do in the pre-launch is you document the journey of what you're creating, and you take them behind the scenes with you. Did I do this with my book? Well, I don't know how not to do this, you guys. Like, because I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to tell them about it. But you're working on something, you're creating something, you're documenting the journey. People want to know how you earned it or learned it. If you want someone to value something that you are selling them, don't just give them and teach them. When I say, well, I actually learned this through $2 million invested in myself, through testing this with tens of thousands of clients, through falling on my face, literally, like countless times, through 50 different launches. And I'm going to tell you the most important things. Are you going to listen a little bit closer, right? Even if I tell you probably a more compelling story with like, maybe go deeper into like verse the whole overview, of course, right? So that's kind of what you're doing when you're documenting your journey of making something, of learning something. You're showing people how you earned it, how you learned it. Now, here's what I might say if I was in the pre-launch of Money March, right? I'm compiling everything that I've learned from billionaires, sales mentors, my experience closing almost $30 million in sales into a program for people who want to pour momentum on their sales, but don't want to do it in this like pushy masculine way. And I'm curious what questions you would have for me when it comes to sales. Would you be like, oh my God, that's so cool? Even if I said like, and I'm going to make it cost less than like a good lunch and coffee, and I'm going to coach you every day. Now I have this like crazy idea, but I just want to make sure I include everything for you guys. Right? So it's like, ow, that I would love to tell you like what your questions are when it comes to sales, even an ask me anything thing. You can email this, you can put this on whatever channels you connect with people. Now, again, poll your audience. I always do. What do you most want to learn from me? And this is where I'm testing every single hook. I'm understanding where my people are and what they want. So when I was testing first for my micro movement method, I was like, do you want to build an empire? Do you want to build a movement? People want to build a boutiqueified business. And I was like, what? Like I made up this word boutiqueified. People are like, yes, that's exactly what I want. Would have never known that until I was polling people. So you can say, what are you most interested in learning? And here's where you can list also your expertise. This is building authority expertise. And people are going, oh, damn, right? You can list your accomplishments. Like, what do you guys most want to learn about? How I sold out a 1,000 person event, how I wrote a best-selling book in 5 months, how I healed my gut and loved my body for the first time in decades, how I closed this much in sales on my own. Then this positions you and it actually lets you understand both what people actually want to hear from you and in what way you word it that they're attracted to. Because sometimes I'll do the same exact thing worded in different ways. So I'm testing the actual verbiage. And sometimes it's like, oh, what angles? And then people don't know, oh, that doesn't seem like I'm bragging, but I am. Right? Maybe it does, but it doesn't really matter because we can. Right? But it's also like, yeah, what do you guys want to learn from me? Right? So you can do that. You can say, what would you most want me to cover? And you can look at different things that you might teach, different angles you might have for your launch, for your offer, right? The exact process for turning your deepest shame into your greatest power, how to stop dimming around people. I would start with the thing that leads with, oh, I've actually done this, right? And then what do you most want me to cover? How to stop dimming around people, right? Like, and how to convince, like, how to basically get someone to do something without convincing them, how to get high on air every day and like program yourself for happiness, the physics of making miracles the norm. Like, I would do these like 4 or 5 things, right? And I would have people vote. Sometimes I even have people vote for the names of programs. Do you want this to be called fun money or quantum nonsense? And then I will see like, oh, wow, my people love this, right? Okay, I did this for my book title. Even when I was feeling wishy-washy, like I started to doubt myself writing this book because there were so many micro decisions. I'm still like recovering. I am like, I started being like, help me on every word. No, this, like all of this, you guys did with me. I was like starting to feel like wobbles about unreasonable joy. I was like, should it be nonsensical joy? It was like, nope, 70% of them said that. I'm sticking with it. Don't even think about it, show. But I always just go to my audience and to my people. So okay, what do you feel is most in your way? You, self-sabotage, self-doubt, stop and go, circumstances, money, time, and energy, other people, not them not believing in your dreams, or rules, formulas, credentials, professionalism. Now, for me, like this is just getting data, right, on my audience, and I'm also giving my framework to them. So whatever you have, it could be something like, hey, I have this really cool technique that I just came up with, and I just helped my client do this. It just helped me do this. Or, oh my gosh, I realize I built this thing and I want to show other people how to do it. I put a course together with my method. I put a product together. I just want to make sure it's the best product for you, right? I want to make sure I cover everything. What's your number one challenge when it comes to this? And you can poll them, you can ask questions, you can do all that. You can actually talk to people about it. Yeah. So that's a pre-launch. Are we clear? Do we feel clear? Yes, I see your faces. I see your faces go like this if you feel clear. Okay. Are we ready for the pre-launch phase? The courting, dating phase, my favorite. This is where excitement is. In fact, for you as a business owner, most people choose to feel anxiety during this period, but this is actually where excitement lives. Because once you achieve the thing, you don't feel excited anymore. Who here has had a big launch, hit a big milestone, and instead of feeling excited, it's just like, oh, here it is. And you have to feel grateful. And then you have to dream another dream and you have to work on excitement, right? So actually, the space in between you being here and having the thing, and people might say yes, and what might happen next, that's the most exciting place because excitement lives in the unknown. Once something is known, it's not exciting anymore. And so I love the pre-launch because if you allow yourself to have some self-leadership and your chill rocket ship and you get in a space that reminds you of who you are, and you don't start spinning to your husband or your friend or whoever it is that knows nothing about what you're doing, and you start worrying and you start feeding those thoughts and energy and action, you start focusing on what's not working and you start maybe hedging. Okay, you're going to go, I get to be excited because we're in the unknown, but it is also where my fear lives, but also where my leadership lives, because we don't need leadership when things are certain. We need leaders who are willing to be actually delusional. And delusional means I am acting in alignment with my focus, energy, and action with something that literally does not exist yet. Like I'm going to act as if this is a full program. Literally no one signed up yet. Like that's why you can lead, because you're delusional, and that is a skill. And that is something that is contagious. Get around other delusional people as close as possible. So your pre-launch is where you are gradually romancing the market with high value content. Now, remember I said Christian showed me, he knew what the fuck he was doing. He knew I knew he knew what I needed and that he could deliver. Right. And this is where you are courting, delivering value, and positioning yourself in anticipation of an offer. So you tell, again, this is where you have that engaging story about what you know and who you are and your products and services and why they matter. Now, a lot of people use the word authority. I like to use the word anti-authority because I'm like, they have been told like what to do and they're in this box. And so I'm like, come in, be that anti-authority, like breaking people out of the box, giving them something they didn't even know was possible. And you do that through what people often associate with authority, right? Expertise. So you show your expertise, you show that you're embodied, right? And you tell stories and you share how you came to these realizations, right? You give value and you always give a story on like how this applies, how you came to this realization. People go, oh my God, that was so helpful. Thank you so much, right? Oh, that helped me have this little breakthrough. That helped me see things in a different way. Now, you are positioning a new opportunity, you are teaching, and you are showing transformation, whether it's your own transformation, whether it's client transformations, you're showing transformation. And this is also where you start to see social proof. All right. Did you see, even as I started talking about Money March, I'm sharing like screenshots and people talking about the book. I'm talking about like people from Money March last year, right? Like everything people are saying, they're like, what? Even that in and of itself is enough for people to go, what is this thing? Right. When someone's in their expertise and you're like, they know what they're doing and their social proof, like that's a really good recipe, right? What you're also doing in your pre-launch is building community, because people being a part of something, when you have an event, I like to launch, and we're not at the launch yet, right? But I like to launch with an event because it creates a shared community. Often I like to do a multi-day thing. I'm doing a 30-day thing coming up, right? Like the level of community that occurs. And when you do this and when you're connected consistently to people, not only are they connected to you, but they're connected to each other. And so when you're a part of something, you want to act in alignment with the values of that community. And so are you much more likely to go deeper, right? Once you are a part of this community or part of this movement, you act in alignment with the values of this community, of course, right? And so you're also building connection. And this is where you are being a human. This is where you are not like performing vulnerability. But I don't know, has anyone here like had an absolute perfect moments for the last 30 days? Like, of course not, right? So you show up and you are yourself, and people like people. People feel home with people. People are 1,000 times more likely to trust a person, right? To believe a person that they feel is like them, that has built a relationship with them. And for me, it's like, that has just been the only way that this is sustainable for me. Like, I don't want to have a job. Like, I want to have a community that I do life with, that I'm obsessed with. And I'm like, oh my God, what earrings should I buy? Oh my God, guys, this crazy thing just happened. And I want to look at your stuff. And like, I miss this so much writing my book. Like, I was looking at your guys' stories and like, oh, this person sold this business. They're changing their name here. They're in this thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited, right? Because like, that's what makes this whole thing worthwhile. Right. So that's what you can actually schedule in for yourself if that's your style. Also to connect with people during your pre-launch. And this is where you are getting people excited for something to look forward to. February 21st, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, March 1st, March 1st, March 1st, March 1st. All right. And this is where reciprocity starts to kick in. It really kicks in. Probably the climax is the day of your launch. But reciprocity is a very basic human instinct. When someone gives you a present, like on Christmas or on Hanukkah or on Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate, right? Where it is custom to give gifts, and you don't have a gift for them, do you feel like, what do you feel inside? Tell me, drop in the chat what you feel inside. And I'll have a bite of this. Awkward. Oh, shit. Yeah, cringe. Okay. So we feel weird when people give to us and we don't give back. Of course, because of the human law of reciprocity. We give value, people give it back, right? We are good people. People are good people. Like, that's why you guys are all here, right? Like, we're good people. We're like, oh my gosh, this thing supported me. I'm drinking this amazing tea. Do you want to hear about this tea? I fucking love this company. I can't believe I could just buy this tea and it could come to my house, right? Like, we do this. We want to tell people about things that have changed our lives. We want to support things that have supported us. Okay. And so when you give, people want to give back. So reciprocity starts to kick in before you even make an offer. Now you're also building trust, and trust is built through time. And yes, you can condense time. Like when someone says, I just listened to 5 hours of you in one day, right? But like time with people. So this is why like multiple days, this is why um, when you do the job of doing this before, you're always building trust with people. Then your launches are like, there's this like grease and like butter on them, right? They're so much easier because you built trust with people over a long time. And this is why people who want to keep like starting and restopping and starting a new account and doing this, I'm like, you do not understand the currency of trust that you build with people. Like I booked out my client roster. I had a $20,000 month, my first month in business doing life coaching because I had been building trust with people. Who my aunt joined my program. My this a woman in the year older than me in high school joined one of my programs. Someone I met traveling joined my programs, like because these people had trust with me. Someone said, oh my God, I know you from college. I have a friend going through a hard thing. Like that really, like this is the most valuable thing. So I would say your pre-launch, there's no like you can break the rules, right? I would say there's no right or wrong way, but 5 to 12 days is the sweet spot for me. Like if I'm below 5 days, I feel kind of like rushed, you know. I think I did 5 days for the limit does not exist because I was like, okay, we need to do money march, you know, we need to fit this. But I remember like the first time I launched my first program, the Empowered Business Accelerator, because before that I was just doing private mentorship with people on their life. And then I started doing some business mentorships. My first program was like how to launch your online business and not be a weirdo with sales and have a story driven brand. Right. And so I remember I gave myself like 2 weeks to promote this like event I was doing to launch it. And I wish I had like 5 more weeks. So, right, I was like, oh my God, like it all felt so overwhelming. There's a big learning curve. But I would say now, like 5 to 12 days is the sweet spot. If you have also something like that said, I've broken this rule when I was really sick in my pregnancy. It's like March. I think it was my sexy. It was my half birthday on May 10th. And I did not lead that program until June. So it was like 5 weeks of promoting New Money Millionaire when I did that. So, and it was fun for me because I was like, listen, I don't think I can stop throwing up for another month, but I want to start selling something. So hope to see you in 5 weeks. And I gave, exciting reasons for people to keep joining. Video is my favorite always because again, people connect with people. You can do written, you can do email, you can do social media, use all the things that you have. And a pre-launch looks like value. It looks like posts I made recently. Why the most successful people are shameless, right? And then I go into a piece of expertise around that. And then I tie that to, oh my gosh, building anticipation for this upcoming event. What if you're playing small without even realizing it? Right? There are only 4 limits that hold you back from you and your next level. And I'm teaching and I'm inspiring, right? So I'm telling my story, right? There's value. You cannot give too much value. If you are afraid people won't buy because you're giving too much value, I want you to know that most people will not buy ever. Actually, like 80% of the market like doesn't buy anything. 15% buy a lot of things. That's why fearing competition is so silly because actually the best people, 15% of people buy a lot of things. Like they buy multiple things at once and then 5% buy absolutely everything. And you're just like, that's it. That's why all the stores always prop up next to each other, right? Because those best buyers are like, I'm going to walk in here, I'm going to walk in here, and it's art. I'm going to buy from all the different places. Okay. So never worry about giving too much value. As long as we're going to talk about this month, like you're going to create strategic gaps, right? Like if I'm here and I would be lying to you if I said like, oh, and that after today, right, you're going to have everything you need to like absolutely scale your micro movement. No, because it's been a 2-hour class, but I know that I can give you really powerful coaching around launching. But out of service to you, to me, to this movement, I'm going to sell, right, my platinum offer. And I'm going to clearly and distinctly tell you the difference between what I'm teaching here, what I'm teaching there, what you get here, what you get there, right? And so that's what you are doing when you are giving value, as long as you are creating strategic gaps that there's people understand they're walking past business they're walking past economy and there's also business class, people will upgrade. As long as there's an upgrade and the upgrade is attractive and the upgrade gets you there quicker, faster, easier, with more fun, with more play, with more joy, with whatever kind of network, whatever kind of experiences, whatever it is that people value, they will upgrade. You can never give too much value. You're only building trust with people. You're only building goodwill. You're only pouring into the universal bank. Now, what you're doing here is you're showing people that you understand them, right? You understand their fears, their challenges, their dreams, their desires. And the pre-launch is where you can also set it up so your hot audience can pre-order. So this is actually what I did on my birthday. We'll talk about what happened after this. On my birthday, November 10th, I actually allowed my hot audience. So my like loyal people are the ones who build with me, who are like going back and forth, who are answering the polls, right? And then your hot audience, the people who are like, oh, I'm waiting to buy something from you. I'm like, they're warmed up. They've been here for a while. They trust you. They have been loving your valuable content. These are the people who will pre-order. And these are the people who are going to start creating buzz and social proof. And so this is where some people do a wait list, or some people actually allow people to join early. This is where you can, join a wait list. You can pre-order. There's some kind of special bonus for joining here. And it's not a transaction. It's like, oh my God, I'm a part of this. It feels like there is some kind of identity in pre-ordering. Maybe you only allow certain people to pre-order. Maybe it's exclusive invitation. Like people do this with brands that they love. They're like, oh my God, I put down deposit and I pre-ordered the Cybertruck, right? Like this is your people are pre-ordering. On my birthday, I posted, yes, on my birthday, I posted this. The limit does not exist is available for pre-order. Watch all the way through to hear the summary, the 4 main reasons people shrink instead of expand. So I gave some value. And I said, this is my life's work over the past 6 years. Every sentence has earned its place. Like for $9.99 on pre-order. And then I said, like that they got some exclusive bonuses for pre-ordering. They got VIP access to this event that I'm going to run when I launch the book, which is the one that I just did, right? And I gave them like a couple other things as well. So thousands of people pre-ordered. Now, because I had been building relationships with people for so long, and I did the pre-launch right, we became a #1 bestseller on Amazon on my birthday before Atomic Habits. And I still have the screenshot on my birthday. I didn't even know that was possible. People told me that like everything in the pre-order counts towards day 1 launch. So I didn't actually know until I started talking to a friend. And I was like asking about Amazon strategies, like, you're already a bestseller, right? And I had no idea. So that's what happens when you do the free launch, right? When you build a movement. And this happened in my pre-launch, right? When people started pre-ordering. Now, having a relationship with people, like building the movement, this is like fuel on everything. Like it works 100 times more, right? This is like fuel on the fire. So we've gone from the pre-launch. Now we are in the launch. Are we ready for the launch? Okay. The launch now is the invitation to an expiring offer, if you are wise. Okay. So if you do not have an expiring offer, you will cut your launch sales in half. Now, social proof is super important during the launch because what you've already talked to people about the big idea. They already know what the offer is. It's already a clear promise. They already trust you. They already feel like they're getting value. They already feel the reciprocity, connection, community kicking in. Right now is where we're doubling down on social proof. And I haven't even done this with guys. I have not done this with the platinum group, but this is people are joining, people are celebrating. Oh my God, people are waiting out the door. Other people are joining. Our primal instincts get in. We're like, fuck, I want that. Other people are right. Like the results that people are getting, you're overcoming objections. You're not necessarily like having to inform them all over again about the offer. Although, don't underestimate. Probably, I think 75% of my vortex doesn't even know what the platinum offer is. Some of you probably still don't even know what it is. So don't underestimate how much you need to. Also keep telling people the big idea and what the offer is. But a lot of the times in this launch, once you make the offer, it's about overcoming any kinds of objections they might have and also artfully, right? And social proof. So yes, then you build momentum off of the social proof of your launch event, right? You do an event It's amazing. You give value. And now there's all this social proof and all this momentum around it. And yes, you're excited, right? When you make your invitation, you're excited, but you don't make that mistake. I'm so excited. I'm excited for you, right? What's in it for them? What's in it for them? Why do you make this for them? Why is this the next thing for them? And so you open cart for like, gosh, there's no rules, but either 24 hours up to 7 days, 24 hours up to 7 days. And this is your big day, right? And you lead with the transformation and the result of your offer. You don't lead with, if you have a course or something like this, there's 6 modules, 12 videos, 4 bonus PDFs, right? You lead with a result, a single result, so vivid that they see themselves in it, right? After this experience, you're going to know exactly how to take any idea in your head and turn it into a sold out offer within 2 weeks, right? You're like, okay, I understand that. So we're going to have a promise and you're going to have reasons to join, right? You're going to have authentic urgency and scarcity. You're going to have pricing, perhaps. Like there are different ways you can do this. People usually think pricing is the way you do this, but in fact, it's the weakest out of all of them. Like, yes, it works, but there are actually other ways to create healthy urgency and scarcity. Bonuses that expire, if they are really attractive bonuses that are actually expiring, like you have to follow through on all of this, right? Like then this really works to move people. Or the cart is closing forever. In fact, I did that with a iteration of the club last year. I was like, it is closing, like, I mean, it's closing like forever, like forever and ever. So again, that probably doesn't work if it's an offer that you want to do multiple times over, cart closing forever. But I know that Meryl is actually doing that with one of her offers right now. And it's like the last time people can join. So that's huge, but there can be bonuses. There can be things you're delivering on. My pitch architecture gets kind of savage. It gets kind of crazy. If anyone is in the vortex and you have access to the 7-figure pitch, this is like a 1.5 hour training where I go through like 9 elements of a kick-ass pitch. So if you are at a place where you want to like dial in, that's something to start thinking about. This is just like the overall, like this is the basics of making a pitch, right? We also have challenge secrets inside the vortex. This is like a 3-hour class on how to build out a challenge. We have one-to-many sales. We have high converting events, which is how to build trust, belief, and desire in 30 different ways on the actual event itself. That's gold. It's like 6 figures in value, like right there. I'm like, this is like the money vault. But the gist is that the vast majority of people will put a decision off if you give them the choice. They will. Who has done it? I have so done it. And there's probably like 1% of people, the most ambitious people, who like always lead themselves and they're always on their own timing. And they don't need, like, they're just so self-led. And I'm like that sometimes, but even I often need a decision point. Like, this is where you have to face the yes or the no, right? Especially when it comes to spending money. So one of the key objections of a launch is to get people to make a decision. So there's a consequence if you don't jump in and purchase before the end of the launch, right? And if people are not moving, but they are really interested, 99% of the time, it's because we didn't do this powerfully. If someone is like, they are in, they're so excited, they applied, they spent the time, like, I mean, there's so many things we can talk about, but I will say that like this will solve that problem 99% of the time. Scarcity that's authentic. And if you actually have a cart close and you actually follow through on this and you actually don't worry about, oh my God, am I selling too much? And you go ahead and you go 3 emails last day of the launch. I'm going fucking ham. We're going crazy. I'm going to help people see that they have to make a decision. You will double your launch signups the last day. Always. Like, I always double my launch signups on the last day because I stopped doing go and then sign up by the end of the week and then just fizzle out. And only the super ambitious go-getters, first movers join, but all those people who need to be closed are not closed. And God, I want to do a whole class on closing, on closing for you guys, but we'll talk about closing inside of Money March. Okay. So this is just how we work. Deadlines are freeing. Deadlines personally are freeing. We talked about this. I talk about it in the book. I also talk about it inside of The Limit Does Not Exist. Like deadlines are so freeing. Oh my gosh. Because Pareto's law, work will expand the time allotted for its completion. Right? And so for you, deadlines are freeing. For other people, deadlines are freeing. So we want to double down on social proof, right? Not just screenshots, like faces, names. Usually I bring up clients to talk to you guys. Like I have not gone ninja on sales yet, but like I will bring up clients and I will showcase my clients and I will have them talk about the transformation that they've been through. Because first of all, it's inspiring, it's value focused. And second, this is so much more powerful than a screenshot I could share because you're like, oh my God, this person's like actually real, right? And this person was feeling the same exact thing I was feeling. And this person is like someone that I want to be connected with. And it just changes everything. So when you share faces, names, videos, stuff like that. Now we're moving into, are we ready for part 4? We're moving into post-launch. Okay. And this is delivery above and beyond what people said yes to. You want to also, for the people who said yes, you want to give them something to like, it's like the wedding, like there's a kickoff, there's something really exciting. You deliver above and beyond what you promised. They're so happy that they said yes. Often people are so happy they said yes that they join for another round if you make that offer. Like people join the Vortex, which is my inner circle mastermind, someone asked in the chat, at Living Brave Life, and then they join alumni like right after. Because they're like, oh my God, I'm enjoying this so much. That's actually when people want to buy more from you. So that's that process. And now you will stay connected to people who said no. And you do not be sassy to people who said no. You do not be weird to people who said no. You do not act like they wasted time. None of it. You just see it's all part of the journey. Every maybe becomes a yes. Every someday becomes a yes, but only if you make sure it does. And that's through you continuing to transform, to be in your mastery, to take it higher and higher and higher, and to follow through. Because what happens is the next time they're going to be 10 times more likely to jump in because you've built trust with them, because you've built belief with them, because now they want it. They've seen other people have it. They've noticed that they stayed in a very similar place, right? And now they want it even more because they're feeling pain, because they're feeling desire, so now they feel anticipation for the next time because they can't join at any point, right? So anticipation, it's already closed. So they missed the window. And it's very important that you do close the cart, right? The offer expires, and the next time they're going to be 10 times more likely to join. Okay, now the most important thing when it comes to the micro movement method, the last and final piece is energetically back it like a ninja. Okay, which is probably, I will say, like you don't need, even in my like 7-figure pitch architecture, which has like all these different bullet points, which are so cool. And like, this whole 3-hour like challenge secrets class and all this crazy stuff you can do. Like, this is not the reason that people don't go off and do big things. Because in fact, some of the people I know that make millions of dollars, like have barely like 1/10 of this strategy. But what they are doing is they are holding the vibe. They just keep going. They just keep going. They're just daring to lead. They're daring to be embarrassed. They're daring to fail. They're daring to, like, they're testing new things. They're trying new things. And like launching, and why people don't do it and why they're just like, I'll let people trickle in, is because not only is it that moment for them, but it's a moment for you to propose to someone, right? You feel like sometimes you're putting yourself out there. Like I still feel every time I go to make an offer, like there's always voices, there's always resistance, there's always all of that. And it's your willingness. Christian always says, success is your willingness to be humiliated. And I would say, I'm like, that's why shame slaying is the foundation of everything, because You're a lot less afraid of being humiliated. You're a lot less humiliated when you don't feel like a loser, when you don't feel like a failure, when you know who the fuck you are, when you've been through the darkness, when you've met yourself there, when you know that you're a champion, when you know that the reason you can do this is because you do the things other people aren't willing to do, because you don't make your results and the world you see around you mean anything like your past, what you've done before, a failure, make that mean or solidify a story about yourself that is anything less than you are a vortex of infinite possibility. You are connected to magic and miracles and infinite possibility, and you choose to feed on the quantum level, on the energetic level, on the action level, the reality that you want to create, and you allow yourself to be a human having a human experience along the way. Like, that is the most important thing. And so I remember the first time someone told me that they were in launch mode. I asked them to hang out. I was like, do you want to go get a coffee or a drink? And they were like, I can't, I'm in launch mode. And they couldn't hang out with me. And this was like 2022. And I was like, wait, but like, wouldn't that be the best? Like, wouldn't the best time to be launching be when you're having fun? Be when you're like on vacation, hanging out with friends? Like, it just didn't compute to me. I was like, so I started like, I launched, like, launch when you're on vacation, launch with joy, launch with ease, like, because yeah, you could do all these things, right? But what's going to be better? You meticulously planning out all the emails behind your computer screen, like energetically just like zapped, especially if your energy is connected to your business, or if you're out and you're like, okay, this program is about joy. I'm going to go live the most joyful life. Okay, like, what is part of the micro movement method is like, what is your big idea? And then lead that big idea. Like, go live the thing that you advocate for at a level you've never seen anyone else lead, like live it at. And so for me, like when I was launching the Vortex, the last time I opened doors to it 5 months ago at Living Brave Live, I was like, okay, so I could do all the launch things and follow up right, or I could go. I just stood on stage and told everybody to go make the move. I'm telling everybody to make the move. And now, what is my next move? Like, if I'm telling them to make the move, where am I holding back on making the move? The best thing I can do is live a story so good. It drives the launch. It makes this launch so fun. What's the story I want to tell? What's the big idea? Now let me lead it at a level that stretches me and scares me. Right? Because that's the way I'm going to move people, right? Like, it could be all these little hooks and things I could say, or it could be like, I'm literally embodying it, right? And that became the story. That became the marketing message. It's like, keep encoring. Don't let resistance win. Don't let the snapback win. Don't shrink back, right? Like, go all in, like, upgrade your identity. Feel what happens when you do that. Right. So that's exactly what I did. And we did this crazy, like, it was literally like within 1 to 2 hours notice, we had our commercial flight was delayed. We chartered a private jet. I texted my best friend, my dad. I literally ordered Chick-fil-A and 2 bottles of champagne to the plane. I was like, I don't care how much it is. We got on the plane. We were like, my videographer came in. We're doing post-production on the plane. It felt so badass and it was so scary. And so, am I insane? And oh my God, is this going to pay off? Does it make sense? You know, all of that. I made a reel on that plane that got seen by like 9 million people. I did not know that was going to happen. And that night, you can't make this shit up, I got in bed, I checked my Stripe app, and I had a $300,000 payment notification. And that was 3 times bigger than anything I had ever gotten paid in my life. And I felt in that moment very excited. And when I'm excited and when crazy shit happens to me, I want to share it with you guys because that's what I've been doing for 6 years, literally every single day, whether I'm throwing up in a bucket or we are having our biggest sales month, I tell you about it. And so I went to tell everybody about it. And I felt the snapback and I actually deleted it. I actually deleted the post because I felt like shame come up. I felt old fears come up. I felt like I was going to be rejected by my community. I felt like I had gotten too big. I felt like I was going to trigger them. I had to lead myself through not just a financial move, but also an identity expansion, holding the energy, right? When you get in your own way, maybe if someone had said, who do you think you are? Like, you're so not relatable. I had to hold the energy through a launch. And I had to decide to continue to expand. And so I told myself that if I held my community to such a, like, if I saw my community so low, how disrespectful would that be to them? If I held back who I was because I thought they couldn't handle it, because I thought, like, well, how rude, how disrespectful. Do I see them so low? Absolutely not. The reason I am where I am is because other women have celebrated, they've gone first, and they've shared loudly and proudly. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to raise the bar. I'm going to show us what's possible. I'm going to tell the truth. Right. And so that whole story is in the book, but I want to share that because holding the energy and continuing to encore and not let your own internal stuff, other people, the launch not going as planned, like your own insecurities, doubts, and fears. This is like probably the most difficult, part of the journey, where we stopping. And we talked about this on Limit Does Not Exist live. Someone in the chat said, and I'll have to fact check this, but like, when you have to land a plane and then take off the plane, that landing and takeoff is like 90% of the energy. Right. And so when you see someone continuing to go, this is someone who is like riding on escape velocity. So you want as much as you can to not, even when everything just wants to hide and go and just watch a movie and turn everything off in the middle of your launch, like, don't do that to yourself, because you love your future self, because you are connected to the version of you who is reaping the benefits of you staying committed, holding the energy. Okay. Yes, there will be errors. There will be human errors. There will be tech errors. Like when Amazon canceled thousands of my pre-orders, thousands of pre-orders, all of that I work so hard to have all of those pre-orders. And it's okay, right? There will be times where you totally flop your pitch, and it's okay. Like, I have absolutely gotten weird. Like, the whole point of Money March is like, stop being a weirdo with sales and start to sell like you breathe. Because the more you do something, the less likely that you're going to be a freaking weirdo with it, right? However, sometimes something's going on. And I swear, like, as recent as this year, I stood up in front of 100 people and like made an offer and felt like, what the hell just happened? Like, I don't know, like something in my body was so off. Right. And I texted Christian after and I was like, oh my, he said, how did it go? And I said, honestly, I think I kind of flopped. And he said, that's part of it. That's part of the job. And that's why you can do what you do. If you want to be a performer, if you want to be a salesperson, if you want to be someone who leads people, part of the job and the reason you can do the job is you don't always get to nail it. Like, that's why it's so awesome when you do. Like, there are certain times where I'm just like, oh my God, this is magic. I can't believe that happened, and like, that is what makes it so magical, because it's really not every time. So it's not certain. You don't always nail it. It feels uncomfortable. That's why not everyone does it. And that's why almost no one does it successfully. That's why you can. There is such a high upside because most people don't have the inner strength. And so if you can just have the inner strength and you're willing to go through that, there is a huge premium, right? But if it was certain, and if you always got to nail it, then everyone would do it, and then everyone would do it, and you wouldn't have the rewards, right? So I had a client, this was on a Vortex call yesterday, a Vortex experience call, and she had made hundreds of thousands of dollars in her business, and she was like, I'm resisting launching, and tell me if you feel seen in this, because she didn't want to look like, she was like, I know this is crazy, but this is the power of coaching, because you say stuff out loud, right? And you hear yourself, and we all mastermind and coach and connect with each other. But she was like, I don't want to look like a failure to the clients who are watching me, right? Because like, these people are watching me. Have you guys ever felt like that? Like, whether it's your audience or people, and they're like, oh, still no one signed up. So you don't kind of do it. You do it halfway, but you literally create the thing you're afraid of. And so it's like, what if I look bad? Right? And here's what I told her. Okay. This is the game. Like, yes, there's a shame slaying piece we already covered. It's like, if I have nothing to defend, I'm not on the defense. If I don't feel like a loser and a failure, I'm a lot more likely to be willing to fail and be willing to lose, right? But this is the game. And so professional athletes, Rock stars, do they perform in front of a lot of people? Yes, entire arenas of people. They get paid to perform in public. That's why they get paid. That's why they get seen. That's why they get recognized. And so I told her, you are playing the game. You're like a professional athlete, you're a performer, right? And the people who are watching you, the people who should really care about your clients, the people who are in your inner circle, they're watching their favorite player play the game. Right? It's not actually your life on the line, believe it or not. You're playing a game. You're not going to die. It's crazy. You fail and you flop, and then you realize you're still here. Oh my God. You can just keep going. No one even is paying attention. But like they're watching their favorite player. Okay. And who was it, the David Beckham movie where he literally kicks the ball into the wrong thing? Like he had lost the World Cup, right? Like that's and some people did definitely turn on him and he went through like a horrible time. I think he got death threats. Why can he be David Beckham? If he's like, I'd like to be David Beckham, but I don't want to perform in front of people because I might mess up, then he can't be David Beckham. So part of what you need to reconcile within yourself is like, there are no solutions, only trade-offs, which means that you have to be willing to mess up. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to do that. That's why you can do it. You have to have the inner strength, the inner self-love, the fortress, which we talk about in the book, right? And so know that people are watching their favorite player. And I know I'm someone who, if my favorite player doesn't have their star show, right? If they kick the ball the wrong way, like I am not going to turn on them. I'm not going to say, oh my God, I don't like this player anymore. I wouldn't be a true fan. So if you build true fans, like you don't have to be perfect for them all the time. Like you're their favorite player. That's why they're watching you. Like it's okay that you don't nail every game. And so someone who isn't in the arena at all, do they have fans at all? Like here's the thing, we're so worried about losing the fans, but if you don't get in the arena, do you have fans? You don't even have fans. You don't have to worry about losing them, okay? If you stop getting in the arena, you will lose your fans. You will lose attention and stop playing and you lose them anyway. So the most important person to worry about, by the way, because we're all worried about what other people are going to think and what they're seeing in our launches, the most important person to worry about is you, because you set the standard for everyone else. So when you follow through, when you back yourself, when you invest in yourself with focus, energy, action, investment, money, energy, time, follow through, no matter what, when it makes no sense, when you play in accordance to a big future, you are building, like you can lie to yourself all day long, but if you are taking action based on the past and based on the reality that you see in front of you, you don't actually believe yourself. You are bullshitting yourself. And unconsciously, you will know that. And so if you are not making the moves you know you need to be making, then the biggest risk is you are losing respect and reputation with yourself. And the surge of energy that you feel when you go to do something brave. Like I know I've made investments before and I feel this surge of energy. It's me and me. It's because I'm proud of myself. It's because I respect myself. It's because I'm building a reputation with myself, right? And that is what is the foundation of everything else, no matter what the results are, right? And so during a launch, you really have to realize that you're playing a game, you're testing things. Make it fun. Make it fun. And really, how the interrogative, how easy can we make this? How much fun can we have? How chill can we be? How can we surprise ourselves and others with how we respond to the situation? And I have found that like if you are doing it, it's because you want to do it. And I have like, you can stretch this in some of the most pressureful situations and make it fun. And constantly asking yourself, what are you feeding? What are you feeding? What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? Oh my God. Or like, yes, you can do that. What if only 2 people sign up? You can absolutely do that. But you were like playing a doomsday tape on purpose. It is like the most wild thing that you would do this, right? And so what are you feeding? What if it works? What if there's someone right around the corner who is ready to buy? And yes, it is tough. As I've said, you are literally being delusional, right? That's how you make it happen. What makes you impressive is you be and do, and then you have. You don't have evidence. You don't wait to have the evidence to show up. You don't wait to be successful to claim a seat at the table and invest in your dreams. Most people have it backwards. You live the story you are proud to tell on stage. That's how you get invited to speak, right? And so that's what we've got to do when we're leading ourselves powerfully through Money March, through this launch. You need to be devoted to being connected to people, to communities, to mentors that are positive, that make you feel limitless, that make it fun, that remind you get to play, that remind you of possibility. So, how to get the most out of Money March and make launching super freaking easy? Well, what I would never go without. First, don't be too cool for school. Okay. Like, don't be too cool for school. Everyone at the top who stays at the top, I will tell you, is a constant learner. Now, I have seen people at the top and then they need to be the coolest person. They're too cool for school. And all of a sudden, they are no longer at the top. People at the top, they're always constantly learning. So don't be too cool for school. Get mentorship, be in community, lean in, get support, allow yourself to be a student. I have done this since day one. I keep doing this. I'm like a nerdy student. I'm going to blow up the chat box every room I'm in. Like, I don't care if I'm the only one, right? Like, I'm going to be connected. I'm going to be inspired. I'm going to learn from people. And I would never go a day without it, because the reason why I went from that first $0 launch flop to that $20,000 month is that I got in a community. I got coaching, I got mentorship, I took it seriously, and I had people holding me accountable, right? And I had the actual tools and training. So do that. Make sure that you have people where you can lean in and you can ask questions and you can share your wins and you can do all sorts of stuff that aren't your boyfriend, your husband, like, and I will say it, like, you will inevitably calibrate to the people you hang out with, right? And so you might have friends who are like amazing people, but if they're at an old level in your business, if they are not where you want to be in business, if they are where you currently are in business, they might be great encouragement, but they're probably going to have mindsets that make you wobble. And you're going to literally calibrate to their focus and energy and action. You're going to start acting like them, and no one's really going to move ahead, right? And so you want to look at, can I be in connection and get advice and see, like a pendulum clock, if I can start syncing up with people who don't stop and who keep going and who hold the energy. So build strong relationships, and you get to do this inside of Money March. And this is really why I designed the Platinum Group, for deeper connection. But no matter what, on these sessions, like, you are going to build relationships with people in your industry, even people who could be seen as competitors. Okay, so instead of competing, you realize, I'm going to help you build a category of one brand, right? But instead of competing, you support each other. And so you realize that we don't actually live in an infinite pie world, in a finite pie world. We, instead of fighting over pieces of the pie, we just make a bigger pie. We expand the market, we expand the industry. Like, the people who are winning, they're people, they could be seen as competitors, but they support each other, they team up together, and the lift gets lighter for everybody, right? So have support. And let's see, as I said, like, that's really what got me from my $0 to 20K. And then my first group launch was a 50K launch. Like, that was a proper launch. The other one was just a 1-to-1. You don't realize it. I want to tell you why Money March is so condensed and it's 30 days. And I want you to take immediate action. Is the biggest cost that you have as an entrepreneur is opportunity cost. You've probably heard money loves speed. Money loves speed. Money loves speed. You can do all the things right, but I move so quick. I make decisions quick. Money loves speed, right? And so, as you heard on Christian's call, like, opportunity cost is the cost of doing, like, of not, basically the second best option, right? So if you are staying put, then the opportunity cost is what you lose out on by not making the move. And so, like Christian said on his call, he paid off 60K in credit card debt in a single click, after having a $300,000 month in his business, right? And he was so happy that he didn't put off his dreams and waste more time. And there are times where I look back and I'm like, I was so hesitant, right? But I kept delaying this thing. Like, I couldn't understand how much, like, time, my energy, and my focus is my most valuable resource. And that's why I tell you guys, just test, just keep going, just get feedback. When Christian said, I invested in every course I saw, every coaching program, I got around people who had what I wanted. I had no plan B. I just absorbed it all. because I saw the opportunity cost of not doing it. He had the vision of like, one day I'm just going to pay this debt off in like a single minute. So I'm not going to waste my time right now worrying and overthinking and stretching. I'm just going to keep trying things. I'm going to keep learning from all the people. I'm going to sleep on couches. I'm going to use leverage. Right. And this community, this group is the best leverage that you could possibly have. So when we talk about the concept of a mastermind, this concept has been around forever. It's been around before Napoleon Hill. Come on. Women have been masterminding forever in circles together. Okay. This is the quality of a mastermind is determined by the quality of the people in it and the level of community. And the best masterminds have a strong ethos and tangible sense of community. And why this works is because it creates a powerful sense of identity. If you just go to like learn something, right, then that's one thing. Sometimes people are going to get. Have you ever been in a group like that where everyone's just trying to get something? Versus you join and there's a strong kind of moral code. There's a sense of community. So now everybody has a new sense of identity, like an operating system, right? And we're all leaning in and supporting each other. And there are hot seats. This is where someone goes on a hot seat and they'll get coaching and they'll get support from everybody else in the group, right? And it becomes that rising tides lifts all boats, right? And that's what I have designed, whether it is mine that you join. I would highly recommend creating this for yourself. This is what I've done in the Money March Platinum Mastermind. And this is what the Vortex is for the whole year. And Vortex, you'll meet them inside of the Money March Platinum Mastermind. So this is when everybody is focused on giving and uplifting. And if you just focus on giving and uplifting other people, you will receive too. If you build a culture in a community where everyone is giving and receiving, is everybody is giving and uplifting each other, everybody will receive. They will all receive 10 times more. And you set that standard, right? So creating culture of accountability, of connection, of ideas drives everybody forward. Now, we have a little bit of time left. I want to check in and see how everybody is doing. Can we shake it off? Can we shake it off? Can we get excited? Yes. I see Celia, Sierra Merrill's here. We still have over 112 people. Wow. Thank you guys. It's been such a fun call. It felt really good to get my visit.